All right, I'm actually curious about this video, and you guys voted for it, so that's cool. It's from somebody whose name is Mad is on. I think their name might be Maddie. Madeline? Madeline? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Anyway, it's called "Why Are So Many Influencers Low-Key Creeps?" I don't know how low-key it is. But I have a little bit, before we get into it, I have a little bit of a theory. You have a lot of creepy guys, Dr. Disrespect and others. I honestly, and it's typically seems to be men, and I love men. But I think it has to do with when you get abundance, usually financial and wealth, and influence. When you have the ability to do virtually anything you want, the worst of you comes out, and I think that has a lot to do with what's going on here in general. So let's see what we got here.
Why are so many influencers low-key creeps?
Creeps.
You said that I got banned from Twitch because I was s***ing a minor through Whisper's messages? Do you even know what the legal definition of s***ing is?
Oh, did you guys even check the age of consent in that state? I like how it's like, well, they just leaned in appropriately. And then, so to try to signal to his stupid fans that he would never speak like that to a young person. And then it was like, but did you check the age of consent in that state? If you're sitting here telling me it's okay to talk to that 16-year-old because of the age of consent in that state's okay, legally you're fine. But I just think you're pathetic and disgusting. Especially since, like, let's be honest here. It's. I think the worst part was that you had a wife who just had a kid. That's a very difficult time for women. You're going through hormones and all that, and you're publicly embarrassing her like this. Like, I feel like that's almost worse. I mean, it would have been worse if you met up with the person because you could have harmed them. But you know what I mean? Like, that's fucking, I'm just saying, like, you embarrass your wife. Like, pathetic.
I did.
I hooked up with Cody Cole when I was 17 and he was 25.
Oh my God.
Bash your
That one's not good, but not nearly as bad as, 35-year-old Dr. Disrespect and a presumably 16-year-old. A little worse. Still bad, but I'm just saying it's worse.
head against the wall with a brick if you don't.
Although, Cody Cole did actually allegedly meet up with them, so I guess that's something different.
Shut the f up. Because this one, genuinely, this one, you this royally.
Yesterday, Ava Chris Tyson of the Mr.
Ah,
Beast
yes, I remember that weird I'm Alex guy. That guy was a creep.
crew had a ton of evidence surface about horrible behavior with how they communicated with minors, as well as a past of really disgusting shit. A lot of people are calling the season 7 writers of 2024 internet drama lazy because they're reusing a similar plotline. A lot of people drew comparisons to Dr. Disrespect recently being outed for talking inappropriately to a minor.
As more and more popular, well-liked content creators are being exposed for their nefarious, even illegal affairs.
Is it more and more, or is it just like, is this just another unfortunate par for the course?
Memes have begun to float around pontificating on this philosophical question.
Pontificating.
What's this guy been up to?
I actually saw this TikTok on TikTok, dude.
So sorry. I didn't know she was 12.
Oh, no. What?
It seems like every week at this
I knew. I shouldn't make those jokes.
point, another content creator is put on blast for having chatted up a 14-year-old.
He came out and was like, that's right, baby. I was texting minors, dude, and inappropriately too.
And it always
I think the presumption is that they were 16 or 17, but still, gross.
just seems so stupid. Like, you can't believe that someone would have the audacity to chat with a minor and say things like, "You're cute, send pics," or sleep with a minor.
I miss the old days when people just hired unattractive prostitutes, like that one famous actor, the English guy who had like an attractive girlfriend or wife or whatever, and then hired just... I can't remember the name of the guy, but I feel like some people, especially the older people in my chat, might know who I'm talking about. You remember those good old days, dude? What's going on with all the kid stuff? You know what I'm saying?
Minor, knowing they're underage. Here are these grown adult content creators who have not only done that, but then have gone on to have these massively successful careers. The fact that someone
Well, I guess that's why they resonate with kids so much. They just know what kids like. I don't know.
that stupid has had a more successful career than most of us just goes to show success has nothing to do with intelligence whatsoever. Do
Well, that's absolutely true. Of course. Well, I mean, it depends on what type of success you have, but yeah, of course.
you have a favorite comfort content creator? Someone you love to listen to after a long, hard day at work? Well, somewhere out there, someone is probably holding on to screenshots of them texting a minor. So
I don't think we have to go that far. I don't think it's that crazy. I would say most creators probably aren't trying to talk to kids, just to be clear. But some of them are fucking weirdos. Absolutely. What the fuck?
how old are you? Only 16? Wow, you're so
Wow.
mature for your age.
Base, dude.
So why do so many
Well, as Nico says, as long as she looks attractive, you're allowed to talk to kids. That's the sum of what he's effectively says when he advocates for, you know, kids getting married to adults.
Content creators end up being total creeps.
12 and 20. Well, how attractive was the 12-year-old, guys?
Let's analyze just some of the content creators who've been exposed as total weirdos within the last few months. And creepy weirdos is probably an understatement, but the words that I want to use will probably get this video demonetized.
You can use the word predator. Depends on the person. Yeah, whatever. Do your thing.
Not that it will.
I mean, I don't know if Dr. Disrespect is necessarily a predator, but it could be. Yeah, that's like a whole different like conversation, but definitely yucky stuff.
We'll get monetized anyways, since this is a brand new channel that I just started posting on again. Subscribe.
Oh, what happened to this person's old channel? Was it demonetized?
Dr. Disrespect. Dr. Disrespect is the
Dr. Dingledorf. Oh, this account's old, but it says 2 years ago. What the hell? Wait, who is this person? Do they have a different thing?
Reason for my appealing appearance.
Fortunately for me, there'll never be any screenshots of me talking to kids, but there might be a fake video out there of me saying slurs. I would never. It's fake. It's AI. Thankfully, we live in the time where I can claim that, of course. Never happened. There's not a techno remix from somebody when I was, 20 or 19 or so. That's never happened. I never did that. Okay, please don't worry about it.
Today, Party City didn't have the sunglasses he normally wears. Okay, I understand these are kind of different.
I just went there. They had dollar tombstones yesterday when we went there. Isn't that crazy? Dollar tombstones. We got a couple of them in a little graveyard.
But you get the idea.
It's still up. This is just their smaller second channel. Channel is Cruel World Happy Mind. Sorry, that's a dude. I'm getting old.
Yeah, and he's also one of the main reasons I'm making this video. Throughout Dr. Disrespect's career, he has been one of the most popular and well-liked streamers.
Okay.
And he has.
This makes sense because I was sitting here and I'm like, how come like this person's production quality is really high? It's like solid. They seem to know what they're doing. Why? What the fuck's going on here? How come they put this on a second channel? What's the second channel? Well, how come they got rid of this channel? What?
Has 4.5 million followers. Dr. Disrespect has streamed more than 5,000 hours, which is more than the equivalent of
me too, man. I get up to piss so much in the night because of my diabetes. I'm streaming constantly.
208 days worth of streaming. With all that time streaming, you would think, when would anyone ever?
I've seen one of her videos before, with 8 passengers. Oh, shit. Was that the video where I was like, this doesn't seem so bad? And then I was like, oh, wait, this is pretty bad. I think it's a video where my wife yelled at me for something. I forget exactly what it was. It was some stupid ass shit.
Ever have time to be a creepy weirdo.
She was watching and she's like, what are you talking about? I think it was over like the kid, like, oh, they're having their kids make their food. And I'm like, that doesn't sound so bad. The kid was like 4 or something. I don't remember what it was, but my wife was like, are you fucking, like, what are you doing? Like, you're being ridiculous. I forget what it was. It was obviously something very silly.
But somehow, Dr. Disrespect figured it out. Dr. Disrespect's real first name is Guy.
Damn it,
so I'm going to keep calling him Guy throughout this video. Not only because that's his name, but also because ultimately, he's just some guy. The big controversy in Guy's career is that he was banned from Twitch back in 2020, but nobody knew why. Guy ended up moving on to
there was the police looked at it and there was no insidious behavior. There was no technically illegal behavior. Okay, guys, why don't you just get over it?
YouTube and continuing his streaming and gaining a popular audience and following off of.
Did he ever get his monetization back on YouTube? Because that actually kind of pissed me off because I think that it sets a bad precedent. If he did
that platform, but still everyone was confused since the reason for Guy's ban on Twitch was never disclosed until
his name is actually Guy. It's Guy Beam or something, right?
June of this year, former Twitch employees came forward, alleged that Guy was banned on the platform for sending inappropriate messages to a minor. The fact that all of that
because I saw him post something that was like, oh, you reapplied. Oh, so he hasn't gotten the decision yet, presumably, I imagine. But this is the 25th of September. I wonder if he's going to ever get a decision. They should just let it expire.
Was kept a secret for so long, for over 4 years, even though apparently all of those people knew internally what happened is kind of disturbing. It kind of feels...
I mean, it makes sense from like a legal perspective. They might have been held to some kind of non-disclosure agreement in some capacity. I don't really know the infrastructure. And since there was like legally nothing found wrong, it makes sense that they would not come forward or Twitch wouldn't like put themselves out there because it could be considered some kind of slander or liability in some capacity. I understand it from like a legal perspective. you know, it's obviously still wrong, but I kind of get it from that perspective.
Feels like the higher ups in Twitch chose to protect Guy and his reputation so that they could.
Yeah, again, I don't think that they cared about his reputation. Well, they probably cared about their own reputation more than anything else. Let's be real. Like, honestly,
avoid a scandal.
like, imagine Twitch was like, oh man, like this guy, one of their probably biggest content creators was caught talking to somebody young on fucking Twitch Whispers. That would probably not look too good for them.
Originally, when Guy was banned back in 2020, it was shocking and confusing to so many people because it was right after Guy signed a basically 8-figure contract with Twitch. But instead of Guy owning his actions, he continued to claim that he had no idea why he was banned.
In regards to the ban, there's a lot of people that want to know. They want to know what happened. Why did you get banned? Guess what?
Let's just say they didn't appreciate me hanging out outside the high school.
I want you to look me in my eyes when I say this.
Hey, thank you so much for the 6-month small gut from KC, halfway to a year. Hell yeah, brother.
Okay? You're not looking me in my eyes. Hold on. Okay. I really want you to look me in my eyes. Okay? I really want you to look me in my eyes when I say this. We still have no idea. We have no idea. Yeah, right, dude. Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm not buying that one.
Twitch just wanted to lose money, I guess. I don't know. So then
yeah, true, right?
Guy moved to YouTube and announced that he was suing Twitch for their decision to ban him. And this legal dispute ended up getting settled with Guy tweeting out, moving on, with a piece of paper with his frowny face mustache logo.
I have resolved my legal dispute with Twitch. No party admits any wrongdoing. Okay.
Go on it. And the text, I have resolved my legal dispute with Twitch. No party admits to.
It's crazy because, like, Dr. Disrespect, honestly, like, he's probably just going to come back and then it's not really going to be that big of a deal, like, ultimately. Which, like, even because the reality is even if he doesn't get monetized on YouTube, and I don't think that they should monetize him on YouTube, what's the next case scenario? Like, what he goes to, like, Rumble or Kick or something, and they'll welcome him there. Or though might have got banned on Kick. They might have banned him. I don't remember, but he'll go to, like, Rumble or something, and he'll probably be fine in some capacity.
Any wrongdoing. Signed, Dr. Disrespect. What font did Guy choose for this piece of paper? And why is it written out horizontally? He's the only one who signed it. And normally, when there's a contract of any sort, I'm pretty sure both parties need to sign it. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. But let's just trust Guy and take his word for it. Also, I think the choice of words is very interesting. No party admits to any wrongdoing. Yeah, from a very basic Google search, no admission of wrongdoing clause in a contract is very commonplace. But the fact that Guy continues to choose to use that wording and the very obvious self-made contract that he drafted up and then signed himself.
Well, that was probably something that the actual contract said. But he couldn't show it because it might have brought up some of the specific allegations against him, so it would have looked kind of bad for him to, put that up there.
Interesting.
Oh, and also they probably agreed not that they wouldn't put it up there, both parties. So
it makes me wonder if he was very focused on the admission of guilt, knowing all along that he had done something pretty wrong.
All parties were not allowed to speak publicly about the case. I respected those rules. My lawsuit against Twitch was eventually resolved, as you all know. But even then, as part of the settlement,
Dr. Dingle respect, the true victim, guys.
All parties were still prohibited from speaking publicly about the case or the settlement.
Finally, 4 years later, it would resurface why Dr. Disrespect got banned from Twitch when an ex-employee posted on X. He got banned because got caught sexting a minor in the then existing Twitch Whispers product. He was trying to meet up with her at TwitchCon. The powers that be could read in plain text. Case closed, gang.
Cody Connors, ex-Twitch employee, wasn't even involved. Leaks Twitch's reported reason. Years later,
The Verge then spoke to a different employee who corroborated this story. So how does Guy respond to this? He immediately denies, and goes
and then almost immediately admits it.
on the defense, refusing to admit any guilt in his subsequent posts on X. Jake, seriously, I get it. It's a hot topic, but this is...
It's funny because I remember I didn't cover it until he came forward and he made his statement that definitely like screamed of guilt. And then I was like, but I didn't cover it before that because I'm like, oh, we don't really know. Like there is a pretty high prevalence of like false allegations. So I wonder what would have happened if he just didn't say anything. If he was just like, no, this is not true. And I wonder if there would like, I wonder if anything like actually would have leaked, or if he was just anxious that something might have leaked. So he decided to admit it so that it wouldn't get pushed forward. I truly wonder.
Has been settled. No wrongdoing was acknowledged, and they paid out the whole contract.
You quit nicotine 2 days ago. Any advice? Shit, brother. I don't know, man. Don't smoke cigarettes. You know? Try not to eat too much. Try not to go on to like a transfer addiction is like my best, I guess, advice I could possibly give.
No wrongdoing was acknowledged. Again, saying basically, well, no one involved is able to say I did anything wrong. So even if I technically did, it's not being acknowledged.
Kind of a based alert if you tell us me.
That makes me completely innocent in my own eyes. And yes, that is how I sleep at night. He's glass.
Well, he's an older guy. He probably just didn't care. I mean, what is he, like 40 or something at this point? He's probably just like, whatever, it was legal in the state. I don't care. I mean, that's a very older frame of thought, unfortunately. So I really would not doubt that. I'm not saying it's okay, but that's probably where he came from. He's just like, I don't care. I don't think it's a big deal. Yada, yada, yada. And that's kind of what it is. And unfortunately, that mentality is changing, but that's probably what had happened.
Glasses I wear, they're always on, so I never have to look at myself in the mirror.
I really want you to look at me in my eyes. Okay? I really want you to look me in my eyes.
And according to Guy's tweet, these ex-employees are only coming forward, bravely I might add, with allegations that might affect or ruin their career because Guy...
Yeah, it probably would have an impact on their career, I would imagine. I mean, they couldn't keep it, like, from a, like, nobody's going to publicly come out and say something, but from, like, a private professional thing, the company might be like, oh, well, we told them not to say anything. Now, like, this person can't necessarily be trusted anymore. We're not going to hire them, so...
Is a hot topic.
That's why I do the hot topics.
Accusing him of a crime. It will benefit these people. How?
Cody, why do this? What was the point?
I think that Cody guy was like trying to plug his band or something with it sometimes, but still, it seemed, I mean, Dr. Disrespect effectively admitted it, so it seems like it's credible enough. But that one guy from fucking, that one guy that did the, what was it? I forgot that one guy, like that reporter guy that was just like going at a certain point and just like pushing false allegations obviously did not help, because if sometimes people will brush everything off as false. If like one part of it's false, they'll brush everything off as false. So that was like stupid as shit of him. What's that guy's name?
This was settled professionally. And you, knowing how black and white the internet is, you decided, you fucking rat, to leak the reported reason Twitch banned me in 2020. I mean, for what? Cody? Why? Did you not know the repercussions from spewing lies about the two-time?
Maybe people just also have a right to know that their favorite multimillionaire creator used that power to try and coerce a minor. People,
or maybe the fans have the right to know that they have a shot. As long... Yeah, that's it. A shot. If you're a kid, I don't know.
People might want to know.
I couldn't really reel that joke in, sorry.
That guy also made another tweet that said, listen, I'm obviously tied to legal obligations from the settlement with Twitch, but I just need to say what I can say, since this is the effing internet. I didn't do anything wrong. All this has been probed and settled. Nothing illegal, no wrongdoing was found, and I was paid. Elden Ring Monday. Dr. Disrespect did in fact stream himself playing Elden Ring, but the claims were not going away, as much as he tried desperately to ignore it all. There's now an infamous clip of Guy on stream receiving a message and realizing that the allegations were getting worse and worse, and that the entire internet was realizing that he had messaged a minor.
How long was it like that I fucked that up? Yeah, it's fine.
Dr. Disrespect gets a message and abruptly ends his stream, saying he's burnt out and going on an extended vacation.
You know how we run things here.
Man, I don't even know if I don't know if I get the whole Elden Ring thing. I don't know if I could ever play that. I can't wait to play Kingdom Hearts again though for stream, just for fun. Some pretty good, pretty appropriate music too.
Oh no, if it isn't the consequences of my own actions, the very delayed consequences, now that I've gone on to amass millions of dollars after this incident, now when people see my 70s style caterpillar mustache and scraggly mullet, they'll know for certain that I'm a creep. In that same stream, Dr. Disrespect, while saying he's going to take a break and go on vacation, somehow also tries to turn all of this around, saying it's just so tiring for me when people bring up all the things that I did. Do you know how hard that is for me? You know how
I'm sure it is difficult for him. No, do I care? Of course not.
tired I am of having to hear about the
I wonder if Dr. Disrespect, if he was playing a game that had more upbeat music, if he would have been less inclined to like react the way that he did. Because I know that music has an impact on the way that I feel about stuff. You know what I mean? So he's playing like Super Mario Sunshine or something, and it was just like really upbeat. And he was like, you know what? I don't give a fuck. You know,
bad things I did.
Like I'm actually tired of being on social media, and I've expressed that over the years, champs. I just you know, champs. I've always kind of hinted like it'd be nice to get off and just completely separate, right? Go live in Costa Rica or something. The industry's changed so much. Just so much different energy out there, negative energy and clashing and.
There's a level of truth to that, just to be clear. There is a level of truth. I'm sure the industry has changed a lot. There is going to be higher policing of people, and sometimes it is very disproportionate. I agree with that. But, like, that's not what happened to him. Let's be absolutely real here. He got off pretty easily, I would say. Zero real repercussions. I mean, like, he lost money, absolutely, but he still has a massive audience and fan base that he could do something with, and he still has a career.
From everything that we've experienced as we've started this whole journey together, you know what I mean, champs? And I'm just like, when I go outside, I just feel so much better. When I remove myself, I just feel, what the hell is this, you know?
After more and more
I agree with you, Doc. That's so cool. Please touch me.
information came out,
That's just one of his fans, you know?
corroborating all of this, like a Bloomberg report talking to even more industry sources about the allegations, and a ton of companies cut ties with Guy. Guy posted a now deleted tweet. Everyone has been wanting to know why I was banned from Twitch, but for reasons outside of my control, I was not allowed to say anything for the last several years.
Yeah, I like the implication that he wanted to say something and couldn't.
Now that 2 former Twitch employees have publicly disclosed the accusations, I can now tell you my side of the story regarding the ban. Were there
I never wanted to, by the way. I definitely did not want to tell people. I definitely did want to. I definitely did want to tell people, okay? But I was forced to not.
Twitch whisper messages with an individual minor back
Maybe he gets more views than me. Yeah, true, man. Like, that's what it is. It really upsets me a lot.
in 2017? The answer
Maybe I should try to talk to a kid. Maybe that'll give me some more views, I think, with my work. Do you want to talk to me? How old are you? You're clearly his fan, so you're probably a kid. You want to sext? I'm just kidding. Okay, I gotta say that. I'm just kidding. I don't want to get in trouble. I'm just fucking joking.
is yes. Were there real intentions behind these messages? The answer is absolutely not. It's impossible for anyone to know what your internal intentions are. The only thing anyone can ever know is your actions. No one can go inside and read your mind and know what your intentions are
Is she gonna change her mustache when she talks about, like, I'm Alex or something?
with what you did. So of course, people that view
You're 12? Oh my god, dude. That's crazy.
an influencer or creator positively are going to at
I'm almost positive that you're just trolling the fuck out of me.
least initially assume positive intentions. And those that
I hope.
view someone negatively are going to initially assume negative intentions. But ultimately, we can never know what someone's intentions are. Intentions don't matter if your actions are bad.
I mean, intentions always matter. I disagree with that. We don't know his intentions, but I think that we're all adult enough to, make a reasonable assumption of what they are when he's playing lawyer language, saying that he talked inappropriately to somebody who was a minor multiple times. I mean, I'm pretty sure I know what you're doing there. Okay? It sounds like you're trying to, like, test to see if this young person will want to meet up with you.
These were casual, mutual conversations with a minor. It happens sometimes. That sometimes leaned too much in the direction of being inappropriate. It happens. Totally. Makes sense, but nothing more. Nothing illegal happened. No pictures were shared. No crimes were committed. You just acted really gross and creepy. I never even met the individual. I went through a lengthy arbitration regarding a civil dispute with Twitch, and that case was resolved
Yeah, you're freshly 25? Damn, dude. I'm freshly 25
by a settlement. Let me be clear. It was not a criminal case
this?
against me, and no criminal charges have ever been brought against me. Somehow Guy literally thinks that innocent until proven guilty just applies to criminal charges and you being arrested for a crime. You admitted guilt in this tweet. You admitted you did something. You admitted guilt. So you are thereby guilty of doing that thing, talking to a minor and veering on, at least in the very least, though I think we know that it's probably a little bit more inappropriate messages. So, this isn't a nothing burger. I also think that we all know that the fact that guy initially flat out denied this all, then backtracked and said, yeah, well, I messaged them and they were a minor, yes, but it wasn't that inappropriate. Yes, some were inappropriate messages, but it wasn't that bad. And I didn't want to meet up with them. That wasn't my intention. And I'm not currently arrested. How could it even be bad if I didn't get arrested for it? It makes me feel like there's even more to the story than we will probably ever know. Following these allegations, YouTube demonetized Dr. Disrespect. When is Colleen Ballinger going to get demonetized? Didn't Colleen Ballinger do some very similar things?
No. Like, I mean, we have to kind of stop pretending that she did. It's very clear Dr. Disrespect was trying to meet up with a kid. Colleen Ballinger very clearly wasn't trying to sexually groom children. Like, I think that we're at that point now where we can understand that what she did was inappropriate. The way that she would have conversations, mostly about like her personal life and other like dumb shit. But it's very clear based on those messages she wasn't trying to sexually exploit children. Thank you for the $2 from Disney Aviation Roller Coaster. Jeez, that's a long ass fucking name. How fucking long is that name? I don't know the rest. Who's worse, Morgs or Jack Doherty? Who the fuck is Morgs? Probably Jack Doherty. I don't know who the fuck Morgs is.
Messaging minors in inappropriate ways. And on September 6th...
Let's just be... I mean, okay, yeah. They're definitely inappropriate, but like the inappropriateness of Dr. Disrespect was very clearly trying to, in my opinion, based on what he was saying, trying to meet up with a kid, a young person. Colleen Ballinger just had extraordinary boundary issues. I'll take. Sorry, brother. That is the take to have.
The guy returns to YouTube, claims that this was...
Sorry, buddy. That is the take to have.
All a pre-planned, orchestrated attack. Because everything is about Guy. It's all about him.
But they want to demonetize her, be my guess. But she clearly wasn't trying to have sex with children. So that's just reality.
He basically claimed that Twitch had a diabolical master plan to completely ruin his life by releasing very vague information about...
You don't know about the clip with Colleen on the stage with the kid? You talking about that clip where she spreads the kid's legs and makes her fart? What are you... I mean, I don't understand what you're talking about. Where her parents were there, like, and her parents let it I don't know what you're talking about. I don't think I should even get into this conversation because I think you guys are a little bit fucking brain rotted from it. But okay.
Very thing that he did in fact do.
Your bullshit accusations gave false courage to other former Twitch employees to make up as well. I suspect all of you sort of planned and coordinated this attack.
I'm a victim. It was all coordinated. It was a conspiracy theory. The Matrix is out to get me, dude.
As in Guy's opinion, even though he was messaging a minor in some inappropriate ways, he wasn't technically sexting them, which means he's innocent, obviously. In Guy's ultimate analysis,
he was just testing them to see if they would.
Of the situation is that
if it was a man Godling did, he was saying something different. No, I think that you're just looking for excuses to be fucking stupid, honestly. Like, that's not true at all. That's like never true. I don't know what you want me to tell you. I don't think that you can give me a single example where I have a double standard in that instance.
He's not perfect.
People, they all act like they're just so perfect.
I'm consistently not brain rotted on the fucking internet. That's the problem.
I'm not perfect. I don't claim to be perfect. Sometimes I do. But I also didn't do all the shit that they're saying I did.
What can you do? And apparently this was an acceptable response because since this controversy, Guy has still remained one of the most watched streamers on YouTube.
Based alert. Was this Morgs was a cringe British YouTuber who did a challenge videos diss tracks? I have no idea who the fuck that is.
But Dr. Disrespect was not the only person exposed for, well, allegedly preying on minors just within this summer. And what this next famous content creator did might just be even worse. Cody Ko. Cody Ko, a comedic YouTuber and known basically as one of YouTube's golden boys, famous for his That's Cringe.
My only situation I had a bad take on was the Sienna May thing. No, I didn't. My take on Sienna May was also fun too. I don't think that you guys understand like the specifics of what happened in those situations.
Series has throughout his online career garnered over...
I never have bad takes, dude. Sorry, friends.
5 million subscribers on YouTube. Cody projected a sort of safe, one of the good ones image. He has a wife and child. He didn't seem to objectify people or disrespect people professionally like Dr. Disrespect.
Has Cody Ko ever like came forward about the allegations that like he slept with her when she was 17?
So when...
I'm just curious. I don't remember if anything happened.
He was exposed for sleeping with now fellow controversial influencer Tana Mojo when she was still underage and he was 25 years old. Well, most people never saw it coming. Most people.
Damn, I bet she did. Well, she said it was really small, so maybe she didn't.
Is a comment on one of Cody Ko's much older videos, now 8 years ago, that says, "You remind me of that kind of sus."
He hasn't said a single thing. It's probably for the best, because then, like, with Dr. Disrespect, probably was the only reason that people had enough evidence to go on to be like, oh, this guy's a creep. Whereas for him, you know, there's still like that plausible deniability kind of a situation there. Because I really don't know what specifically happened. I think it would still be extraordinarily inappropriate. Probably not predatory levels. Unfortunately, like I said, there's like states where that's legal, and unfortunately that's going to have a dictation of what's going on, or people's like exception of like, oh, okay, well, it's okay technically, because I still think it's disgusting behavior, but you know, you wouldn't say predatory behavior. Well, I wouldn't, just because of that, unfortunately. That's why we really need to have like a sweeping change in age of consent.
Substitute teacher in middle school that all the girls flirted with. This all came out when Tana Mojo said in a live show for her podcast that Cody Ko was the smallest person that she had ever done it with. That it's okay for her to say that because
Short King
got together when she was 17.
Who's the smallest you've ever had with? Oh my god, no one look at me, Cody Ko.
If you want to or haven't yet seen the full deep dive of Tana Mojo on my main channel, it is or will be posted soon.
Oh, that's their full video.
Calling Cody small. I'm not sure if that was new information since Cody Ko has a podcast network, which he calls Tiny Meat Gang.
It's like they call themselves Tiny Meat Gang, and everyone's mad at me. Yeah.
Which, if his podcast network company's name, Tiny Meat Gang, is in reference to Cody's member and its size, that's such an odd and kind of creepy in retrospect thing to name a company after. Imagine a woman trying to think of a company name and then saying, you know what? Let's name this after the size of my private parts. What people were
Tiny Clitoris Gang? What?
Really shocked about was that Cody Ko had slept with Tana underage. Please chill. While Tana had maybe subtly hinted about this over the years, literally no one had ever caught on to this until that live show, or at least very few people. Gabby Hanna alleged about the incident in a podcast.
Fucking Gabby Hanna, that's crazy.
One time I told a guy, I saw him making out with a girl at a party who was underage, and I pulled him aside and I was like, hey man, you probably don't know, I know she like looks a little older, she's underage, watch it. And he's like,
oh, is that what you might have been referring to?
Oh my god, thank you for telling me. And then he turned that
Cody Ko and Tana
Damn, dude. Gabby Hanna was giving you advice and you didn't listen? That's fucking crazy.
Mojo had collaborated when she was 17. Stop it. And when they collaborated, Cody Ko made, in my opinion, some pretty cringy jokes. How Tana's a teenager and he is super old.
Teach me some slang. Teach me some teen slang. I'm way too old to be on YouTube. It's sad.
Cody, you're so cringe. Collaborating with a teenager and then asking.
Well, I don't really think it matters about the collaboration with a teenager. Like, I mean, I think it's the sleeping with them that's the problem, right? Because if it's a real world setting, like let's say it's a 25-year-old working with a 17-year-old, like it's not a big deal to work with somebody that's like that's young. It doesn't really matter, depending on the job, obviously. But like if you're working at a fucking Walmart, Target, a content creation, it's not a big deal. It's about establishing like reasonable and respectful boundaries to not to put somebody in like an uncomfortable position where you might take advantage of them, or they might get taken advantage of, or not feel like they can say no, or etc. You know, asking her to teach you teenage slang because you're just so old. Gross. Since the allegations have come out, Cody Ko has gone completely silent. Does he still make content at all? An action that definitely tells you
guilty.
He didn't even try to deny the claims or deflect. Cody just completely ghosted the entire internet. You can make a video response about Jake Paul harassing.
Oh, he like legitimately just disappeared. I looked up Cody Ko and the only thing.
All right, welcome back to That's Cringe.
And the first thing that came up was Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. That's crazy. Wow.
Asking you at a haircut, but you can't make a video response about this? Interesting. Besides the very professional, legally polished sort of non-response made by his company, TMG Studios, Cody has remained pretty quiet. Recently, it does seem like Cody is kind of trying to pull a Dr. Disrespect. He's trying to pull a very guy move and inch his way back into the public eye and temperature.
Well, I mean, he doesn't have to inch too far from what I hear, so maybe he'll be all right.
Test how everyone feels about him. Will people continue to watch him regardless of his past actions? If so,
probably, yeah.
Oh, who even cares about doing the right thing? Cody Ko DJ'd in Vegas because, yes, brand new father and husband is also a DJ. Could you even Imagine Jimmy Neutron looking Cody Ko being some huge DJ. It's EDM. There's thousands of people.
I feel like DJing in general is not a particularly difficult craft to engage in. You're pretty much just playing songs that you've already curated on a loop, right? So like, what the fuck is the point?
Audience, a laser show, smoke show, lights, and just an all-out stage production. And at the very center of it is just Cody Ko. So anyways, Cody Ko was DJing in Vegas and dancing along to the song Sorry by Justin Bieber. So, you know, I definitely think we should forgive him. He was smiling and dancing along to the song Sorry. So he really, really means it. Did he think that would be received really well? What was his thinking when he did that? Cody Ko also...
Well, I mean... I imagine he was just DJing, and that's separate from the potentially and allegedly inappropriate action engaged in, which seems to have some credibility, but, you know, I'd like to, I guess, play it safe.
Also posted onto his Instagram fitness story, which was the first thing he had posted since the allegations surfaced. And the story was just his running time for an 8-mile run, which is definitely a really random thing to be posting out of the blue.
Burned 900 calories and talked to, it says here, 0 underage girls. So that's good. He's doing good. 0 on that run.
After ghosting the internet for allegedly sleeping with a minor, but is he practicing running from the cops? Running away from accountability? I think it's fair to say, Cody, you're creepy and you're cringe. Then within that same month, in summer, this is all in this summer, another influencer and former longtime employee of Mr. Beast, Ava Chris Tyson, is accused of grooming and messaging a minor.
True. Yeah, again, there's no actual, like, they very clearly, from what I saw, didn't groom any minors, but they sent very inappropriate messages that could have been used to wear down boundaries, to open up for sexual conversations, to groom them. It sounds like, and I keep saying this, not to be transphobic, extraordinarily edgy boy humor. Just inappropriate, dumb shit, constantly not caring enough. Could they have used that language to groom somebody? Yeah, and if it came out that happened, then I wouldn't doubt it, or I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't be like, no, they're innocent. But from everything I've seen, that there's not like enough to say like, oh, they definitely were trying to groom children. It sounds more like extraordinarily edgy humor, inappropriate shouldn't be a content creator. You shouldn't be making mistakes like that. You know, clearly you're not responsible enough to make content if you're doing dumb shit like that. But I don't think that they're a groomer. Thank you for the $2 from Jeremiah Wright. Thank you for being such a bean throb, Papa. I love you. I don't even know what the fuck that means, brother. What the fuck does that mean, a bean throb?
Ava Chris Tyson. What's most annoying about this situation is because I'm a little bit late to talk about it, literally so much has been deleted that was once public. If you ask me, PR and legal teams are working overtime to change the narrative.
Are they?
Also, a lot of articles that will pop up first when you Google Ava Chris Tyson, which will only share her most recent apology, or will talk about the one person who denied the claims that they were groomed.
Talk about the Talk to a podcast. Okay.
Won't even talk about how that person later on backtracked a little bit to say that, yes, a lot of what Ava had said was inappropriate. For example, there's a Forbes article that claims to give you key facts on the Ava Chris Tyson situation, but focuses on only one of the allegations in which the alleged victim claimed they were not groomed, and also talks about issues of transphobia regarding Ava Chris Tyson. While many people have been very transphobic towards Ava, just
more like based, what?
Solely focus on that and completely disregard any other credible allegations towards her is just bad journalism. As this comment on the article points out, it's pretty irresponsible to boil these allegations down to unsubstantiated and transphobic. She was having
It's pretty irresponsible as these allegations are unchanged and transphobic. She was having disgusting conversation with a 13-year-old when she was in her 20s. The evidence is out there. Many victims of grooming aren't aware that they're happening to them. Also, the CPs are. But no. Again, they weren't groomed, but they were having very inappropriate conversations. Absolutely. But it's, again,
disgusting conversations with a 13.
I mean, it's true. They had fucking, like, they bought, like, lolicon. I mean, I think it's, I don't know. I think it's safe to say that they like some weird ass shit.
18-year-old when she was in her 20s. The evidence is out there. Many victims of grooming aren't aware of what happened to them. Also, dealing in
I also don't think it's responsible for the internet to decide somebody was groomed, because that could potentially cause a trauma to be engaged. I don't think that people take this. I don't think that people understand this enough from like a psychological perspective. Is that whoever this person was talking to, now that they're being very publicly talked about, it's going to cause a very heightened, we'll say a heightened emotional state where they're very susceptible to information. And fundamentally speaking, you have to be very careful of people who are in emotionally vulnerable spots. We know that you have to be careful with people in emotionally vulnerable spots in general. We have conversations about that like all the time. Like, you know, when your friend's upset, like you don't want to say anything to upset them further, whether that's to underplay it or overplay what's happening to them. You kind of want to meet them where they're at and be proportionate, which is what you do from a therapist perspective. So if somebody comes in and they have a particular problem, you don't go, oh my God, this is horrible. You also don't go like, oh, that's not a big deal. You try to meet them where they're at. And I think that's the suggestion for somebody who's going to be in a heightened emotional state, especially from getting a constant criticism on the internet. Constantly suggesting that they're groomed when they probably were not groomed is not good for their mental state, because it could cause a trauma onto that person just from the constant screeching on the internet. So it's really not particularly responsible to insinuate it. Could they have been? Possibly. Again, we haven't seen any information that says that they were groomed. We definitely saw information where it was inappropriate conversation, like edgy boy humor, unfortunately. But it's like it can be very irresponsible to suggest somebody was groomed when like you don't know. Like that could be psychologically damaging to that person. So
EP art is about as low as you can get. Why no mention of that? It's really bizarre to me how much information these alleged news sources have left out, to the point that while researching this situation, the really only in-depth source I could find was a Rolling Stone article. In July of this year, messages were leaked between Ava and a former moderator of Ava Chris Tyson's Discord channel, who was only 13 years old at the time when the messages took place. This person, known as Lava GS, was only 13 years old. Meanwhile, Ava was 20 years old. Now, both parties would go on to claim that while some of these messages may look inappropriate,
they all are inappropriate,
that no grooming took place. Lava GS posted on X, "These videos are massive lies and twisting the truth. Ava never did anything wrong and just made a few edgy jokes. I was never exploited or taken advantage of. I am not a victim of anything being claimed in these videos or at all. You are still a creepy weirdo if you message a minor in any capacity." Well, I believe...
Well, not in any capacity, but with the conversations that they were having. Like, obviously, there can be moments where it's okay to talk to a young person, like in school or something, or if they respond to a fan chat or something in a reasonable, dignified way that has appropriate boundaries, just to be clear. But the way that they were talking, definitely not appropriate at all. And it could have opened up a line for them to try to take advantage of them. We don't really know what we haven't seen anything like that. There were no private conversations. Everything was like done on the Discord publicly. Very inappropriate jokes, but still not appropriate because what it could have led to. That's the biggest problem there. The same thing with like Colleen Ballinger, what it could have potentially led to. Calling Colleen a groomer is not right, but Papa, would you agree that we can't know intentions for sure? So why say confidently she wasn't turned on when asking teens about their periods and sex life? I don't remember anything about specifically sex life, but probably because she had a lot of instances to meet up with the kids and she just didn't do anything. I mean, one of the biggest criticisms from one of the people that she was talking to, allegedly grooming, was that they wouldn't give her that she wouldn't give them any attention in public. Like she would always like cut short their conversations or visits in public, and they would just talk to them in private. And like, you know, potentially exploit their labor or something, right? So like she probably would have. I mean, frankly, it's very unlikely. It's very unlikely. It's more likely based on all the information that she had extraordinary boundary issues. And she was an idiot when it comes to, well, I mean, it's a huge boundary issue problem. Again, not responsible enough to be a content creator, but you know.
That most people should get second chances in life. If you are an adult who messages a minor in a way that even tips the scales into a little bit weird territory, you're done. You're finished. There is no reasoning. There is no justifying. Pack your bags. Turn off your router.
Sure. I mean, maybe I'm biased because when I was a kid and I played World of Warcraft and like we would constantly make like inappropriate jokes to people who were older. You know what I mean? So maybe I just don't care enough because of that. But I don't think that like not. You know what I mean? I don't think every instance is a grooming scenario. It's still very wrong though. Like those things never should have happened. But I look back at that and go like, oh, that was probably wrong. And I'm not traumatized in my life in any capacity. So.
Shortly after this came out, Ava Chris Tyson announced that she was stepping away from working with Mr. Beast. I would like to apologize for any of my past behavior or comments if it hurt or offended anyone. It was not my intent. Again, with the intent, that makes everything better. Your Honor, I didn't intend to kill that person. It just happened.
Well, just to be clear, that is an actual argument. Like intent does matter. Intent always matters. I think it's a little too. I think it's not really smart to pretend that intent does not matter. And like literally, that's why there's things called like different degrees of murder and like manslaughter. So like if you did not intend to kill somebody and you did, that is an argument that could reduce jail time. Like if you accidentally hit somebody with your car, is different from you intentionally trying to hit them with your car. Those are obviously two different things. I think that we know that, okay? Just to be clear.
I didn't intend to cheat. It just happened. You see how intent kind of doesn't freaking matter
It does matter.
at all? You still did it. You still did something. Seeing recent events, we've mutually decided it's best I permanently step away from all things Mr. Beast and social media to focus on my family and mental health. Dr. Disrespect, Cody Co, and Ava all did the same thing. Once the allegations begun circulating online, they disappear. They ghost. They step away, take a mental health break. It's almost like they can't even physically bear having to face their actions, having to face the music. So funny too, because it's always the same type of person.
Well, I mean, what music would they face? I guess the music they would face is like losing their platform. That's the music they should face, right? I don't know what else would happen after that.
Who has never before taken a break in their career, never before necessarily needed to step away for their mental health. All of a sudden, messages they exchanged with minors surface and they have to step away for the sake of their mental health. Mr. Beast also posted a response on X. Over the last few days, I've become aware of the serious allegations of Ava Tyson's behavior online, and I am disgusted and opposed to such unacceptable acts.
It's very clear Mr. Beast knew that their friend was a little bit of a fucking idiot talking to people. But Mr. Beast probably played it off as just jokes too. Because they probably just were, but it doesn't matter because that's just inappropriate and could cause a problem in the future.
Jimmy, aka Mr. Beast, was allegedly in the Discord group at the time that these messages and chats took place. He has also worked closely with Ava for years, which is important to note for an aspect of this story. So to claim that he just became aware is hard for me to believe. Either he is not very attentive as a boss, or he was aware and he did not care. Though I guess I'll leave that further discussion for my deep dive on Mr. Beast. Another former moderator,
so tired of Mr. Beast, Jesus Christ,
named Nathan also came forward with a video on X, stating that Ava was inappropriate with them when they were only 15 years old.
Tyson from Mr. Beast used me and manipulated me and did very inappropriate things with me while I was about 15 years old.
Nathan also claims that he believes that Lava GS got paid off.
I was actually friends with Lava GS at the time, who is the main victim of that everyone has been talking about these last few days, who claims he isn't a victim, but we all know he is. And
well, he's not a victim, let's just be clear. Like, he's not traumatized. That person's not a victim or traumatized. What happened was inappropriate, but it wasn't like destructive to their life. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not, nobody's traumatized from this scenario.
We all know he probably got paid off. Not only that, but he's also under an NDA from when he worked for Mr. Beast Gaming for 2 years.
NDAs don't matter when it comes to legal behavior, so.
And he tried to get me to join Mr. Beast Gaming himself, Lava. He's the one who actually sent me the contract and tried to get me to sign the NDA.
He also claimed that the Discord server they were in was filled with mostly minors. I mean, yeah, that is Mr. Beast's...
Which doesn't necessarily matter. The problem is that they had not safe for work content in there that wasn't age restricted. And you really shouldn't, if there's a server that young people can have access to, generally speaking, or you have like a young audience, like you shouldn't have an NSFW server in general. I understand having NSFW servers for like, and I would not do that, but like on a server with adults, because some adults don't want to see like NSFW content. But like you shouldn't have that anywhere near it. Again, it was a lot of like edgy, stupid ass jokes, but still, you should just keep that shit out of there.
Audience demographic, mostly kids, watch his content.
You guys have YouTube, and have you seen the new Mr. Beast video where he makes the world's largest elephant's toothpaste?
No, what the f are you talking about?
But then it's wrong for you to go off and build a way to then have private chats with those kids.
Would even go as far as linking me several different...
Well, again, he wasn't having... I just want to be clear. He wasn't, or she wasn't having private chats with these people. They were public in the Discord. There hasn't been a single, from what I've seen, private chat, which is positive to them because it shows that they weren't trying to hide these conversations in like a one-on-one type of a scenario. It's still wrong, still inappropriate, but they weren't having like these private chats where like, oh yeah, it's just me and you, like maybe, you know, send me hentai kind of stuff, which is fucking gross.
Corn and...
Am I sure he's not traumatized? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that this situation would not traumatize. What would traumatize him is the backlash on the internet telling him that he's a victim and creating an emotional, like, vulnerable state. Like, absolutely. Like, the online world can be very toxic and people can, like, totally create these scenarios. This is not something that has ever sat with this person up until he's being told that he's a victim every single day over and over and over again, and putting him in an emotionally vulnerable state. Like, online, shit that happens online, people constantly chirping at you, the things will absolutely have an impact on your mental health. It's going to be way worse than any conversation that this person had with Ava Chris Tyson when they were younger, from everything that we've seen, just to be clear.
Videos throughout the time of me talking with. Not only that, but he had an NSFW bot in Discord server before he made it public. So when it was just a private server, little circle of minors, and he would use this NSFW bot to spam different corn images, alongside all these.
He was like weird fucking hentai stuff.
15-year-olds.
Nathan also went on to publish some of the chats and inappropriate things that Ava would post onto GitHub and tweet the links so that people could see them. But these posts ended up getting deleted off of GitHub. In a statement to Rolling Stone, a spokesperson for GitHub said, "They were removed because they violated our terms for additional products and features." According to those
the fuck does that even mean?
logs, Ava Chris Tyson apparently shared links to a website with drawn P content and asked people to purge.
They were into P too?
Controversial chats. While I wasn't able to find many sources with these original screenshots, I was able to find a dude on TikTok who showed them. So while I'll try to share
what? Someone on TikTok shared the actual images?
some of these screenshots, they will have a random TikTok dude's face in them.
Things just got worse for Tyson because an old Discord server was leaked and it's bad.
Ava saying she's only 14. Dang, buy my feet pics. Ava saying my part of her body.
My penis gets big when I watch anime. What the hell is anime? Is that an anime? What the I have no idea what this is. Okay.
Gets big when I watch anime. There's a lot more.
Is that just like a stupid way to say anime? I'm
as well
confused.
that I don't want to show. If this was just a random adult telling their adult friends this information, then sure, maybe it's not a big deal.
Well, no, it wouldn't be a big deal at all, just to be clear. Like, it wouldn't be a big deal. If this was an adult talking to adults, this would not have been a big deal. The humor doesn't matter because they're old enough to make their own decisions and have agency over themselves. The fact that it was a young person is the problem. Because while, again, I don't think that they were trying to groom them, this could put them in a situation where they could take advantage of them, right? So that's the problem. This it doesn't really matter. This is edgy boy humor. You can do this with any consenting adult. It's fine. But when it comes to like a young person, it's not appropriate, especially as a content creator.
For Ava to be posting this in a Discord filled with minors.
Anime is a antiquated internet term. Dude, don't use the word antiquated. What the fuck? What is this? English class?
And so publicly when she has a platform like she does is not okay. Ava can't even feign ignorance on the topic of not knowing that minors were in the
old-fashioned or outdated. Antiquated. Gotcha. Thank you. I learned a new word.
Discord. Because when the topic of making the
All right, I got to delete that. Okay.
Discord exclusive for just adults was brought up, she claimed that it would be a lot of work. She also said, the internet is full of P content. What am I, a parent? No, you're an influencer who not only has—
Well, no, you're a fucking idiot for even saying that. Ava, not this creator.
The power to influence people, you're also an adult, which means that you should not be interacting with minors like this. Most 20, 21-year-olds are not chatting with 13 to 17-year-olds in their free time unless they're, you guessed it, creeps. LavaGS seemingly retracted their original statement and made a post on X that read, based on the recent screenshot and messages, I would like to say a statement about the Discord. This was 5 or 6 years ago, and I thought I had a good memory of this situation, but I was wrong. After reading the chat logs, this stuff was inappropriate and wrong. I spoke based on my memory of the situation, and I still do not remember these conversations, but they definitely happened. These conversations should not have happened with people the age I was at the time. I strongly condemn them. I still believe I am not a grooming victim, but these conversations—
Well, that's good, because there weren't, but those conversations were definitely inappropriate.
Should not have happened with me and any other minor in this Discord. I was a minor in this situation and not the adult influencer who shouldn't have allowed this to happen. I did not see this wrong at the time. I think it's hard for many people to come to terms with the idea that someone took advantage of you or treated you in an inappropriate way. The word grooming usually conjures up the idea of SA. And so
well, that's because it's almost always used in the context of sexual assault, so yes.
If that's an experience contrary to one's own narrative about their childhood or teenage years.
Just to be clear, this person was not groomed, and I don't think it's appropriate to sensationalize, even if there's a lot of public pressure to do so.
Might be quick to reject the label, which is understandable. Seeing yourself as a victim of anything is a hurtful process in its—
Or maybe they're just not a grooming victim. There are a lot of instances in life where bad things or inappropriate things happen, but it doesn't make the person somebody that is like a victim that's going to have a trauma, just to be clear. All right, what happened was very inappropriate. It shouldn't happen. Ava Chris Tyson shouldn't be a content creator because they clearly are too immature to be able to handle the responsibility. But thankfully, it seems like nobody was actually groomed or negatively impacted in a way that they were harmed. just to be absolutely clear. I don't think we should be suggesting that they were.
Knowing that someone you could have cared about might have hurt you in some way. But I think just as Lava GS put it, this adult influencer should have never allowed any of this to happen. The minors involved probably normalized it all because their favorite influencer who had allowed them into her.
Well, no, they probably normalized it all because like this is how the internet was back then. Like I used to play Counter-Strike when I was like in my fucking teens and World of Warcraft, and I was like a teenager, and we would say like raunchy, dumb shit to each other because we thought it was funny. Like that's just how internet culture was, especially more back then. It doesn't make it okay, but like the general intention was like, haha, this is funny and stupid, and people are being immature. It's very unlikely that there's some kind of like sexual predatorization going on, right? Like not everything has to be predatory, right? Like but it's inappropriate. It shouldn't be happening because it could have led to something, and that's the problem. But it doesn't mean that it is going to lead to something, or like that's just unfortunately what people did back then a lot. People made like stupid, inappropriate jokes. And part of it's because like you have a boundary that's down because it's the internet. So even if somebody is young, you're just like, oh, it's not really a person to me, right? So I very, very highly doubt that there was any like the general intention is like, haha, this is funny and stupid and immature. That's just my opinion, but I'm not releasing the Counter-Strike VODs, dude. Shut up. We're not releasing that. Never really. No, shut up.
Circle normalized it all. And the story gets even worse when Ava's former executive assistant, a woman named Jess, claimed that Ava had sexually assaulted her.
Oh, I read that whole thing. That seemed to be not true, but
Jess met Ava through X and through their shared experience of transitioning and sharing their journey online.
Yeah, they dated. It wasn't a sexual assault scenario from everything that I saw.
Eventually, Jess was also offered a position working with Ava. Quickly, it seemed like their working relationship also became one where, according to Jess, it seemed like Ava was constantly expecting Jess to give her sexual favors to the point where Jess...
They were dating, just to be clear.
Claimed that
you can go look up my video for that if you care, but
she started to feel like she was being coerced. Jess even spoke about how Ava would constantly bring up all the things that she had done for Jess, which in my opinion is also how abusive people would
during this trial period,
constantly bring up all the things.
Just like refamiliarize myself with that. I don't remember the specifics, but I remember coming to the conclusion that they clearly were dating, and it was just like there was not sexual predatorization there.
Things that she had done for Jess, which in my opinion is also how abusive people work. When they want something out of you, so they try and hold something over your head or dangle it in front of you just slightly out of reach. She literally refuses to see herself as the bad guy in any given situation. And if I ever bring anything up, I get gaslit about everything she's ever done for me, and she brings up money and stuff, and it just sucks. Jess sent that in a text message seen by the Rolling Stone. It got to the point that Jess felt like if she didn't please Ava, then her job and her home would be jeopardized. It took me a long time to even admit to myself that what happened to me was sexual assault. But just looking at it in that way, I feel like if I say I'm not a victim of sexual assault, then I feel like I'm lying, Jess said. And after finally being able to leave the position, Jess reached out to Mr. Beast HR, but nothing ever happened. In my opinion, the allegations regarding Ava Chris Tyson is not something that should be just swept under the rug. This is just my personal opinion, but after covering situations like this very often on my main channel, I've seen how when it's a pattern of behavior exhibited like the pattern that Ava has exhibited.
Well, just to be clear, that person making an allegation that they were sexually assaulted isn't proof that they were sexually assaulted. So this pattern argument, you can't just verify everything that happens just because it's convenient because nobody cares. Because Ava's not a good person. Let's just be absolutely clear. But obviously, there's not going to be anyone that's in an explicit defense of them. But from what I read, there was no real like sexual assault or anything. They were both dating in some capacity. They had an on again, off again relationship. The one girl would get like jealous because Ava would spend time with other people, and they were open relationship stuff. And there was this and there was that. And it was like a whole fucking mess. It was very complicated. But sexual coercion, nah. I mean, from what I remember, like absolutely not. It was not something that happened. It was more of like dogpiling at this point. Just to be clear, I just believe in proportionate criticisms of people, not disproportionate ones.
A complete disregard for people's ages and sharing explicit content with them, disregard for people's boundaries, and even using manipulative and abusive tactics to make someone working for her feel trapped.
That's okay. You're just okay. That's fine. I'm not
even into doing favors for her.
I don't even care. Like, if you want to look at my take on it, you can. I'm not going to go through this whole thing.
Or risk losing their job. Well, usually that is exemplary of not just a one-off thing that person has done, but instead an overall personality trait and how they often use an people, which in my opinion makes me strongly believe that these stories and allegations are only just scratching the surface. As upsetting as the Ava Chris Tyson situation might be, there's one last situation that I want to discuss in this video. That is all of the information that has come out regarding I'm Alex.
Oh, the I'm Alex. That guy was a fucking creepy scumbag, dude. That's all I remember from this fucking guy. He was like a fucking creep.
I'm Alex was an English commentary YouTuber. Again,
which are already cancelable, am I right?
And in June of this year, one of Alex's former exes named Alice posted a statement on X.
Pretty sure from what I remember, they were like legitimately abusive, like actually like horrifically abusive.
About the abuse that she endured at the hands of Alex throughout their relationship. I want to say allegedly, but it also feels so silly to do so considering the amount of evidence that was posted alongside this statement and that I'm about to show you in this video. So allegedly, but take that, as you will. Alice also posted a Google Doc alongside this statement with tons of more information and 6 disturbing videos and an audio file. Here's my statement on the situation I've been scared to speak out on. It's best it was made public how horrible this person with a platform is. I'd hate to see another woman go through this. Please read this statement first before continuing. Some important points in Alice's 82-page statement are trigger warning, mention of SA, unaliving, depression, and assault. I've been threatened by Alex to not come out with anything at all and to keep quiet, or he will create a contradicting story to discredit.
Where the fuck has this Alex person been, by the way? Did they just like disappear from the internet? I feel like did they even come back?
Credit my own, but I'm not scared anymore. No matter what is said in response to the statement, I know I've said my piece and can move on with my life. And Alice showed a ton of screenshots of text messages exchanged with Alex calling her horrible things, like Alex calling her the R word.
Damn.
Alex calling Alice the C word. Alex also said that Alice—
That's what got my video demonetized, the C word thing. It's upsetting stuff.
—will die for liking a tweet, which it seemed like Alice kind of laughed at because objectively, that's a little bit of a funny thing to say. Your penalty for liking a tweet that I disagree with is death. So of course, it's also—
True base, dude.
So like concerning as f***. What the f***? What gives someone the impression that they have a right to fully control the likes of someone else's tweets? Even women that are in relationships with dudes that follow a bunch of IG models on social media are like, hey, you maybe not like a photo of a chick showing her butt. I would kind of really appreciate—
Yeah, just enjoy it privately. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate that. Imagine if every woman in that situation said instead—
He's been managing other creators' channels? Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay.
You will die for liking a Summer Rae fan page photo. Your punishment for commenting fire emojis on Sydney Sweeney's newest Instagram post is death.
Death to all of them.
Maybe that's fair, though.
Alex would also consistently call Alice a whore, a dumb whore, etc. over text. And Alex called Alice the N-word in the year 2023. In Alice's statement, she also talked about how Alex's hateful actions towards her unfortunately also turned physical. And when Alice would try to confront him about it, even via text, he would deny it. Do the classic gaslighting tactics, saying that Alice was crazy. The way that she was acting was somehow completely on equal grounds to his physical abuse. Through the text messages posted, it appears that Alice left the relationship once Alex kicked her. There are just so many screenshots in this document of Alex saying the most hateful, diabolical things to his partner. But by far, the worst thing that Alice posted in this doc are the videos where Alex can be physically seen screaming and saying awful, horrific shit to Alice. Like when Alice is talking and Alex interrupts her to say that he is going to bash her head in. What a weirdo creep.
I'm gonna fucking bash your fucking head against the wall with a—
Dude, I'm sorry to remember the specifics. There were so many things that came out. He was fucking insane. This guy's actually like insane. He's like probably the worst person on this entire list, to be absolutely honest with you. He's like the most violent person. Nobody on this list is good, but this guy I think is the worst and like the most dangerous and threat to anybody that exists.
Brick if you don't shut the fuck up. Because this one, genuinely, this one, you this.
I think the specifics on this was like he had this his girlfriend at the time who he was abusive towards. She wanted to be a YouTuber. Boy, wouldn't take every specific aspect of his advice, so he was having a fucking meltdown about it. I think that was the context of that.
Royally.
There's also, as if things couldn't get any worse, a video where Alex calls Alice a dog.
But when it actually matters, when you should lay down, like a good dog. You don't do it. You fight for some reason. I don't know why you fight, because you're losing.
His behavior is so gross. It's so creepy. Also, another one of Alex's exes, Annie, or King Annie, whom he dated from 2017 to 2018, corroborated Alice's story. Annie posted a Google Doc which read, "During the relationship, he made me feel insane, like I wasn't myself anymore. It never felt like he listened to me. I always felt belittled and inferior. He would get stressed over his YouTube channel constantly and complain about uploading, as if it was the hardest job on the planet, and no one had it harder than him. His classic line was, 'I can't catch a effing break.' He would fly off
That's a classic one.
the handle and get mad, then act all apologetic and sad.
Yeah, he thought he was the greatest creator ever. Yeah, I remember he was like going after other people for allegations that weren't even close to how bad his were, and like dogpiling people and trying to like fucking end their careers. The guy was a fucking animal. It's completely unself-aware.
To try and get me to feel sorry for him and forgive everything he had said and done. Lastly, the only time he ever laid a finger on me was when he grabbed me as I was trying to run away from a conflict. We were trying to record a YouTube video together, and he was getting frustrated at having to restart the recording multiple times. He started shouting and beating his fist on the table, even going as far as to break his microphone. I was scared, so I got up to leave the room, which is when he grabbed my arm to physically stop me. I remember saying, "You grabbed my arm," several times in shock, as if to say, who the F would ever grab someone like that? It's wild that so many content creators have turned out to be, behind the scenes, freaks. Creepy, manipulative, abusive freaks. What do these people have in common besides
Wait till you see my search history.
their reprehensible actions and the fact that they're all content creators? What truly creates a creepy content creator? Ollie, a valued member of my team, had a really good quote that applies really well to this situation, and that is that the definition of character is how you treat people who can't provide anything for you. Sometimes, with YouTube and other social media platforms that heavily focus on numbers, you can start to see a complete change in infamous influencers, where their attitude towards people will completely shift. People just become a means for them to further their engagement. Virtually, a person just becomes another number to them. Those same influencers are also being put...
It's interesting because like this vaguely and generally is not really great criticism, because we understand that like leaning into parasocial behavior can be too much. And so you actually do want to set a pretty stiff boundary with your followers in general, you know? Like, I like the people who follow me, and the people who show up to stream, I'll chat with them and talk to them, but I try not to have really too much, like, meaningful, like, outside conversation. I mean, my guild leader is a fan of mine, but, you know, that's why I get all the loot, because I manipulate them into giving. I tell them, if you don't give me all the loot, I'm gonna fucking dox you. I'm gonna ruin your life, right? But that's not manipulative, because I'm doing it. It's okay if I do it. I'm just kidding. But like generally speaking, you know, you don't want to necessarily develop too much of a relationship with your fans. And if you do, you want it to be like reasonable and meaningful, and you want to set decent boundaries and all that. Like in the guild that we're in, I for the most part don't really want anybody to know who I am and all that. I'm not really trying to like make this a whole big thing, right? But generally, you do want to set like some reasonable, like mature adult boundaries when it comes down to this. So I know what they're talking about. Like, how do you treat people that you don't like necessarily need? You know, it's like, how do you treat a homeless person when you don't have to care about them? Like, that's really what I would say. And that's probably a little more on par with what they're saying. But on the online sphere, I do think that you need to set like reasonable boundaries.
In powerful positions where people have developed a parasocial relationship with them. That means that this influencer has a pool of people that they can easily take advantage of. They may not even realize the power dynamics at play, aka how they're becoming a creepy abuser. That is, in my opinion, why so many influencers are low-key, maybe high-key creeps. If you don't recognize the power and privilege that you may have in your own life, you can so easily misuse it.
Sure. All right, man. Cool video. Pogger. Yeah. What do you think?